In great baking, as with all cooking, sometimes less is more. The easiest dishes look and taste spectacular when they're done well. And it doesn't come any simpler or more stylish than my next dish. Wonderful baked cheesecake.
For me, food always has to be impressive. But when it comes to desserts, often you see spun sugar or wild decorations. Remember, simple is always the most impressive. This cheesecake is so straightforward, yet so delicious. Now, cream cheese, leave it out of the fridge for 5 or 10 minutes. Go nice and soft. Trust me, your arms will be thanking you. Sugar in. This cheesecake is New York cheesecake because it's baked. So there's no base. Start creaming the cheese and the sugar. Spending the amount of time I do in the States, if there's one thing they know how to do out there, is the most amazing, impressive cheesecake. Rich, delicious, but so simple. Work the bowl. Lift the bowl to your advantage. Really whisk. Whisk, whisk, whisk. Lovely. Nice and creamy. Now, get your eggs.
Add the eggs to the mixture bit by bit. Doing it this way, it's more efficient.
A, you're incorporating a lot of air. B, the mixture doesn't separate. The last of your egg. Lovely. Of course, you can use an electric mixer, but why go to the gym when you can just make a cheesecake a day? A cheesecake a day. Keep the bingo wings away. Now, a couple of tablespoons of flour. Give it a whisk. Stops it from going lumpy. Now, I want to scent that cheesecake. I've got the freshness, the zest of the lemon in there. I want to sort of tart it up even more. Fold in some fresh raspberries. Sort of just mix them through. Be careful not to crush them.
Then grease a cake tin with butter. This will ensure your cheesecake slides out beautifully.
Get your mix. Let that fall in. Now take your cake tin and just tap it. The mixture hits the bottom of the cake tin. The raspberries rise and you've got raspberries at the top, the middle and the bottom. And it also stops all those little pockets of air trapping underneath the mixture in the cake tin. So there's no holes in the cheesecake. Now into the oven, 180 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes. Slightly souffled up. Pull off. That's the colour I wanted on top. And look at it. It's one of the simplest, yet the most stylish cheesecakes anywhere. Beautiful.
To keep old dishes fresh and exciting, it's great to get spicy. My next recipe is a time-honoured British classic, but with the addition of spices, it's given a new lease of life. Fragrant spiced rice pudding.
I love cooking with spices, but you don't have to just cook savoury dishes. Using aromatics and spices across desserts takes your puddings to a completely different level. First off, our spices. This is a fresh vanilla pod, fragrant and packed full of flavour. Use the back of the knife and flatten it. That removes all those little seeds off the skin of the vanilla pod. Take your knife, slice down the middle. And then when you open that up, the smell is incredible. Take the tip of the knife and you scrape inside. And look, all those seeds dying to come out. That is incredible. There are thousands of seeds still ingrained to the pod, so put them in to the casserole. Cardamom. Powerful, spicy. Take 2 little pods, place your knife on top, and lightly crack them.
Cracking the cardamom pods helps release all the amazing flavour.
Cloves gives it that kind of aniseed flavour with a lot of depth. 1, 2, 3. Cinnamon stick. Snap and in. Just smelling that level of fragrance, you can imagine what the rice pudding is going to taste of. Turn on the heat. Lightly toast those spices just a couple of seconds. And what's going to happen is just going to sort of enhance those spices in a way that it just draws out an even more powerful fragrance. Coconut milk in. Sugar, 2 tablespoons. Milk. And then a couple of tablespoons of cream.
Bring it slowly to the boil to allow the flavours to infuse.
And this rice pudding reminds me of my time in India, where I got really into that chai tea fragrance, because it was just so delicious and so comforting. Take a lime in. The lime just cuts through the richness of the coconut, gives it that nice little bit of acidity. Goes fantastically well with the cinnamon and that fresh vanilla. Nice. Have a taste. Now, let's come up to the boil. Give it a nice little clean round the outside and in with the rice.
Use 200 grams of pudding rice. Don't wash it beforehand because the starch helps thicken the rice pudding in the oven.
And just turn that down to a light simmer. And the pudding rice starts to open up and it absorbs all that coconut, vanilla, cardamom, clove and cinnamon. Bring it up to the boil gently and cook it out for 3 to 5 minutes. Boiling it rapidly, the rice opens up and it goes into mush, so we want to keep that nice texture, that sort of fragrant rice pudding on a gentle simmer.
Next, a little luxury.
I'm going to show you how I take this simple, delicious, aromatic rice pudding to a completely different level. Here's what I do. Take 2 egg yolks, separate them. Now give that a really nice whisk. Two nice tablespoons of mascarpone cheese. Whisk that into the egg yolks. Just so it's nice and smooth. It's almost like finishing the rice pudding in a delicious custard. Turn off the gas, add that into the rice pudding. And what happens, it starts to enrich and really thicken this rice pudding and takes it to a completely different level. The rice is still not cooked, but starting to go nice and soft. You can just see how it's opening up. But look, it's like rich, aromatic lava bubbling away.
Finally, grate more citrus zest.
The lime on top. Roasted, caramelized lime zest on top of a rice pudding is phenomenal.
Then put it in the oven for 15 minutes at 200 degrees to finish cooking the rice and develop the intensely aromatic flavours.
Look at that. An incredibly fragrant rice pudding. How beautiful does that look?
Spices are a brilliant way of helping classic dishes come alive. I'll guarantee you'll never ever have had a rice pudding like this before. My next recipe is a proper British classic that's super simple to cook and costs next to nothing. A delicious apple crumble.
Crumbles are the perfect way to use fruit when it's in season. There's lots of it about, it's nice and cheap, but most importantly, the fruit's at its absolute best. First off, I'm gonna make a really nice light caramel. Pan on, nice and low. Grate 2 apples. And this helps to almost sort of pure the apple so much quicker. There's a lot of flavour in the skin, so don't worry about peeling the fruit. Whether it's pears, plums, peaches, the flavour's in the skin. Nice. To start the caramel, a couple of tablespoons of sugar. The sugar helps to get rid of the tartness in the apple. A touch of cinnamon. That starts to make it a little spicy. Open up your vanilla and just scrape out all those seeds. Now this just makes it light and fragrant. All those seeds in to the sugar.
When making caramel, be patient and always swirl the dish instead of stirring it. When the sugar goes brown, add the apple.
That starts to sort of cool down the caramel, but it gives it a really nice sort of caramelized puree. Apple's almost disintegrating. Smells incredible. Turn the gas down. Slice up 2 apples. It's a crumble that's got no frills. Straightforward, no faffing around, no peeling of the skin. I want them to sort of stand out from the caramel. Apples in. Now those nice, thick chunks of apple are sort of almost bedding itself into the puree. Dried cranberries gives it that nice sort of shock in the texture. Sweet and chewy. I want it to sort of taste zesty, spicy, so sit the lemon zest on top of your apples and cranberry. Fresh lemon juice over. And that just gives that extra acidic kick. Takes the cranberries, the apples, the caramel, and the cinnamon to another level. Turn the gas off. Just let that sit. And let's concentrate on the crumble. Flour in. A couple of tablespoons of demerara sugar. Sugar helps to get the topping nice and crispy. Butter in. Give that a nice little sort of rub. What we're looking for is like a breadcrumb mixture. Lightly season it with a touch of cinnamon. And the demerara sugar sort of helps to get a nice fine crumble mix, and it stops the butter from sort of melting in that flour. So that's the basic crumble mix, but I'm not finished yet. Muesli. 2/3 crumble, 1/3 muesli. Mix that in.
If you haven't got muesli, then crunchy granola works brilliantly too.
Lovely. Now, start off in the center and work your way around. I want the crispiness on the top, the puree on the bottom with the caramel, and then the texture in the center. A good tip, turn the gas back on. I want it bubbling before it goes in the oven, because then you just got to cook the top. So as soon as you see that caramel starting to bubble down the side, in she goes. Let's go.
Bake at 200 degrees Celsius for 12 to 14 minutes until golden brown.
Smells amazing.
Beautiful.
Still bubbling. And look at it. A delicious but very simple crumble with apples at their absolute best. Beautiful.